Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today we're gonna be doing another progress video. So that's exciting. More gambles as always. And we're gonna have a defender run. So I don't claim to be an expert defender or the best defender, but I will show you what I've got and we'll just talk through it like in the last one. And let me know if you would like to see more in-depth videos of Barbarian Assault, like the full collector thing where I show the strategies for every wave and attempt to perform them, and we just talk about them. I could try and do the same thing for defender, but we'll see how that goes. But anyways, if you enjoy this video, please like and subscribe. I'm so happy that we hit 1K. I was very excited about that. I really appreciate you guys. But yeah, let's get into it. And there it is behind this message. 76 fishing. Wow. So we could actually fish sharks now if we had any. That's actually nuts. And I think that's about enough fishing for me. So let's have a quick look at how many we have. Remember, we do need 80, so it's probably not going to be enough, but I cooked 1,000 one day because I got bored, and I've dropped like a couple hundred shrimp that I cooked here and there. But yeah, we've got like almost 30k scrimp and almost like 22.2 blue scrimp, so that's a lot of scrimps. I think I'm still like 8k short of 60k, but I just want to go ahead and start cooking because I do have some raw lobster I can cook and stuff like that. So we'll just see how short we are and then we'll fish it. But yeah, that's a big milestone. That took quite some time. Alright, it was triggering me a little bit, so I went and fished a couple more scrimps to get that nice little 30k. I was tired of looking at 29.9, understandably. So yeah, I cooked about 1,000 blue scrimps so far, so going well. Okay, check it out. We just got promoted to 2 bananas, so if I ever see any of you with a lower rank than me, I will not be humble. I remember my days of not being able to enter the corner. I still can't go in the corner, but I refuse to. Okay, we're starting. I gotta stop. No, but seriously, this is going great. But yeah, I'm actually kind of happy. It's been fun playing with all of the people in this CC and playing this beloved mini game. So appreciate it. Thank you to Casual BA for that. Alright, so now we're going to get into our full defender run, just like we did in the last one with collector. But defender is way more complex than collecting is. I'm sure if you've ever played, you'll know that. But I do want to talk about a couple of things just to preface it. I'm not going to get into all of the like super advanced mechanics. Feel free to read Cape Shit's guide, which I'll link in the description. Has everything you could ever want to know about mechanics. But for now, let's just talk about how the waves of Barbarian Assault work. So I'm going to put this up on the screen here. Basically what this means is the first number is going to be the amount of runners that will spawn naturally, and then the plus whatever, +1, +2, +4 is called reserves. So these will not spawn in until like one is killed. So if we look at wave 4, for example, +1, that means one runner has to die before the last runner will spawn in. If it's +2, 2 runners have to die before the last 2 will spawn in. So that's going to affect how we do our actual defending. So I just wanted to bring that up before we started, and we'll go over a couple of other mechanics. So let's get into that. So probably the most important mechanic for a defender is the one that I'm going to talk about now, and it's just simply called multi or multiing. And basically what it means is that since the trap is only able to kill 2 runners at a time, it only has 2 charges, and then you must repair it with a hammer and log if you've forgotten that. So basically multiing allows you to kill many runners at the same time. However, the caveat is that you have to do it with a certain timing, and that has to be done at 6-second intervals. And if you use the rune light timer, you can use that to time it. So that means if you step off of the trap food, you can stack all the runners up, and I'll have an example of this for you to watch. You step off at either 6, 12, 18, 24, or 0, and the multi will work. If you step off at any other time, the runners might crash everywhere. They might eat one food, and then the rest of the pile leaves. It might do a different kind of thing that I'm not going to talk about right now, but you'll see an example of that in the run done purposely. So that's what multiing is. Okay, so in a normal run of Barbarian Assault, the defender's job is to very simply just kill the runners. I'm sure you've all seen that before. And of course, we're going to do that in our advanced run, but the objective of the defender in advanced runs is a little different. So I think they can be summarized as 1, kill the runners in time. 2, use the runners to lure healers. We'll talk about that more later. 3, spread control of the healers. We'll also talk about that. And shooting reds at healers once you have the opportunity, once everything's lured. So instead of just focusing on killing the runners, there's going to be a lot of commentary based around doing those things as well. So we're going to try and pay attention to that as the run goes on, because that's where most of the mistakes in this run come from. All right, let's get into the start of the run. So as usual, we're going to use the same order: 2 attackers first, healer, collector, defender in the last slot, just to be closer to your machines. And we're just discussing strats for this run. It's just 6-9, which just means, well, nice, first of all. And second, that we're just going to extend the second call of wave 6 and the third call of wave 9. So nothing fancy. That's probably the most basic thing you can do starting out in these kinds of runs. And wave 1, you can use the center tile of the trap, and there's only 2 runners and no reserves, so you're not going to need logs or a hammer, so it's pretty chill. As long as the first runner goes south, you don't need to do anything, and it went south. I'm not going to get into all the early wave permutations, but just know to watch the direction of the first runner. And yeah, answering private chat in the middle of a run, like the nice guy I am. So since you can see there's only 3 runners that wave, I'm only going to drop 3 pieces of food, and I'm using the same spots as last time, except I used northwest of the trap this time instead of on the trap, and that's going to let the main force the wave to end 1 tick earlier than if you use the north spot. So that's why you use that, but it also has a higher chance to cause some crash issues, so you don't want to use it on higher waves. There's really no reason to. So yeah, it dies. We didn't go for reds this run, but yeah, I'm not going to talk about all the early wave stuff you can do as defender. This is a pretty chill run. So wave 3 is probably the hardest early wave because you have to pay attention to both sets of runners. Notice it's a 2+2, so you're going to get this set that spawns, and then you need to watch the first runner like I discussed on wave 2. It went south here, so I didn't need to do anything crazy. All I need to do is just, well, just let the next one die. The third runner goes south as well. That's the one that I have to watch. If it goes south, you don't need to do anything. If it had gone east, like that one up there just did, then I would have had to do some stuff to adjust accordingly, but we're not going to get into all that. But yeah, so since this was a chill one, I'm just going to let it die to the trap. And notice that I hold the interface over into the next call, and I call before I stock, and that allows my healer to hit the machine for, like, in this case, poison meat before they stock, so that they can get more food off of the first call. That's called overstock calling, and that's one of the first things that you need to learn when you start doing defender at this level, is overstock calls, because your healer can't do anything fast if you're not overstock calling. They just physically won't have the food. So very important. And notice it's a 3+1, so I don't go for the log. I let the first runner die, which means the reserve will spawn, and then I'm just going to multi the rest. So there it is, and they all die. And wave 5 is going to work similarly. There's just 1 extra runner. The runner code will be at the top left if you haven't noticed for every wave. Probably should have said that at the beginning. But yeah, so wave 5, 4+1, overstock call. And I'm actually going to delay at the cannon. So I'm not going to move off of this cannon spot until 18 seconds on the clock, because I want both healers. See how that one just spawned up there? I want both healers to target our healer instead of me, because if it targets me, I'm going to drag it all over the place, and that's part of spread control. Accidentally dropped the wrong food, pick it up there. And since I don't need a log or hammer, I run straight back to the trap, let the first one die. But notice I haven't dropped enough food. I've only put 3 worms down. So if I try to multi this, one of them will survive, and that's what happens in this clip. It's an easy mistake to make. I usually drop 1 extra at the beginning. I just forgot this time. So to multi, you actually have to have a food for each one to eat. And yeah, I just realized what I did. I'm trying to figure out how to fix it. So I dropped some food to keep it there for a second. I say run because I want people on the cannon to shoot it if they have red eggs. And it looks like they do. So yeah. And I lose collision here because I walked into truckles, and then, yeah, that makes you lose your collision, so you can't stack it up. But they shot it, so that's a good lesson to know, is if you mess up and have one runner that's just roaming around, it only takes 2 red eggs to kill it. So if you have good lures on a healer, then don't mess it up. You can always just shoot it with a cannon. But that was a mistake by me, so yeah. So I did the same delay till 18 seconds. You're going to do that on every wave going forward. I had a little weird ping. Maybe I left too early, so I didn't get the second log. So I stayed out longer than I wanted to there, which is unfortunate because I did pull a lot of healers out there. So I let 2 die to the trap naturally, so all the reserves should come out. I'm going to multi at 18 seconds here no matter what, because see how that healer spawned? That's a very common thing on wave 6, that the healer will spawn there, and I wait there until my healer blocks it into the corner, and then I repair the trap. Now notice the last one that spawned is stacked north of the healer up there, and that's why I'm not going to move off of this tile that I'm on for a little bit. But I did make a mistake and didn't pick up the food there, so the runner's going to die late, which is unfortunate because our healer had a really good round there, and I kind of fucked it up. But it's okay. So still overstock calling. But yeah, that's another one of the things you want to learn on 6 is multi at 18 seconds, let the healer block, and then stack the other one north. You can read that in a guide. It'll make more sense probably that way than just doing live commentary. So we're going to do something a little fancy here. Since there's only 1 reserve, you could technically no log this wave, but I'm going to go for something called the 1 log. Because if you think about it, you could multi this entire wave. So the timing on this is very tight. You have to get this food down, and I'm going to step off at 24 here. But I'm not going to let them eat the food. See how they targeted the food I dropped there? That's called a fake multi. And now I have to repair the trap and just kind of watch the runners as this clip goes on. And the reason I did that, you see that healer that spawned onto me there? I have it lured now. And then there's another one that's onto me that you might have missed to the north. But I'm going to drag them to the cannon and see how they won't move now. And all my runners are going to die at the trap now. The reason that I needed 2 charges on the trap there was so that the first runner, since you're not doing an actual multi, you're doing something else that I'm not going to get into, you need both charges on the trap. So the timing is very tight to do this on 7 because you have to multi it by, you have to fake multi with 24 seconds left, or it's just not going to work because you'll just pull the reserve into you. Wave 8, I'm going to do something similar, but it's easier this wave. The only difference is there are 2 reserves now, so I need to make sure that 2 die at the trap before I repair, but that's not going to be a problem here. It works on 7 because there was only 1 reserve, as you recall, so I just needed 1 to die at the trap before I started. So I'm just going to go ahead and get 1 log again and run back. And we're going to use the same tiles that I have marked relure there, not relure 9, but yeah. So I let 2 die there, but you can see they multied themselves, so 3 died, that's no problem. I dropped food there because I still want things to lure onto it, and I'm going to do a fake multi now. Drop the crackers, drop the crackers, drop the crackers. And now the runner trap's repaired. I just made sure there. And now I'm going to sit here and pull as many of these healers onto me as possible. And then I'm going to lure them to the cannon. And now our collector can actually step out and grab some more. So the reason that you do that is to leave runners alive as long as possible. And if you look, they're dying at the trap now. And there they go. You're leaving them alive because the way the healer targeting mechanics work is they target a person and then a runner and then a person and then a runner. So if you leave runners alive, you can always re-lure them. That's why it's called reluring. So wave 9, we went for B9 a couple times and I suck and fucked it up, so we just did a normal regular 9. But if you notice, wave 9 has 4 reserves, so this is by far the wave that gives defenders the hardest go of it. So you need to make sure that 4 die early enough before any kind of extensions or anything like that happen, or you'll be very, very late. I didn't do a good job of spread control here. I didn't pull the 12-second healer from spawning, but damn near everything else did. So 2 die there. I'm going to go ahead and repair, and I'm going to drop 1 extra food. And I should have probably went for the multi at 24, but I didn't think I was going to make it. So I'm going to multi at 8, because remember, I'm concerned about my reserves getting out in time, so I'm not just going to stack up the entire wave and kill them. So now I'm going to go for something that you normally do with B9. And the timing on this is very tight. I only have 6 seconds to do all of this, and I just barely get it if you look at the time. So it's going to be kind of similar to what we were doing on 7 and 8. We're going to keep these runners alive, and I'm going to pull healers as long as I can. So they go to the trap and die there, the first one, and now they'll all die. And it looks like I only got 2 healers there stacked. You don't want to stack them if possible, but I don't know if there's anything I could have done there to help out. And then I come up here and shoot reds while he emotes, because remember, unlimited eggs, covered that in the last video. So that's a pretty decent 9 for me. There are better ways to do it. Alright, so 10. I'm using the awk 10 method. There is a better method where you no log it. I don't know that method. I'm trying to learn it, but I can never get a team to wait on you while I mark tiles and stuff, so you know, that's how it goes. So the idea is that we're going to cause a crash on purpose. A crash is when a runner like walks way backwards, and that's what you're trying to avoid on early waves, but we're going to use it to our advantage. I stop there and wait for that 6-second healer to spawn so I don't drag it to Narnia. That's part of spread control that we talked about as your objectives. Spread control just simply means don't pull the healers in all different directions. So I'm only going to drop 3 worms here. Notice that only 2 died to the first trap. That last runner's not going to die to this, and that's purposeful. I also didn't multi on purpose. So see how it walks all the way back to the first piece of food? That means that it's going to be alive for a while now, and I can pull these reserves onto me, and I have one onto me. And a little mistake I made here was that one to the north is ticking 2s, and I thought it was ticking 4s for some reason, so I thought it was going to die earlier. And so I didn't make any kind of effort to not stack these, but it's kind of a small thing. But yeah, see how we have all the healers lured to the cannon? That's what you want every time. So that's the biggest part of Defender, besides just killing the runners, is how well can you lure those healers to the cannon for your healer. And the reason that you want them standing still is, one, so that the healer doesn't have to run all the way across the map every time, but also a healer can poison Penance healer every tick if it's not moving, but 2 ticks if it is moving. So you can effectively cut the time in half of poisoning them if you can keep them still. So while they're on the cannon, they're still. So that's why that's a big part of Defender. Little miss on the egg pass, it happens. And then we just spam the cannon once our collector loads. 1 egg, he does main things that I don't understand, and she's dead. So that's a full Defender run. Definitely a lot of mistakes, definitely a lot of optimization, but that's just where I'm at in my game right now. Share how, you know, what your feedback is in the comments. I hope you enjoyed. 70 cooking, 71 cooking. And that's all the blue scrimp cooked. Pretty happy about that. I actually ran out and went and fished more because it wasn't quite at 25,000 yet. And I didn't want to end with 24k blue scrimp, even though it's disgusting. So now we just got to cook these 31.6k, and we'll still have to fish a little more, but we'll do that later. But that got us all the way to 71 cooking and about 9k, so about almost a 72. So yeah, if you didn't know, the amount of XP you need doubles every 7 levels. So to get 78 cooking, I would double the amount of XP that I need now. So I won't have quite enough scrimps to get there, but I'll be pretty close, like not very long off. So Yeah, I'm gonna get to work on cooking these, but good to have those done. So let's see how much they're worth. 1.6 mil, easy money. 72 cooking, 73 cooking. All right, with that out of the way, let's get into what you actually came here to see, and that is gonna be some gambles followed by the bank video. So I hope you enjoy. A lot of you have asked for this bank recording, and well, here it is. So stick around until the end to see it. Alright, with 500 gambles down, let's go ahead and take a look at the bank. As you can see, 51.8 mil. Not bad. It's not very organized. I just got random stuff everywhere. I think a lot of those came from randoms. Maybe a couple from gambling, I don't remember. A lot of this crap came from the Barbarian. I held on to it because why not? Some of the logs that I've burnt down, there's my stack. So I've cooked about 20k of these, and I've got like 30k of these to go. I had more, but I drop people 100 scrimp every now and then if they make me happy. Bunch of crap, really. Can't use those, unfortunately. Bow won't work with that. That should be in this tab. I used to have all my armor in like one tab here. I should have fixed that. There's the beloved rune axe. I would be very sad to ever lose that. And here's the high gamble tab. That's what you really want to see. So we've got palm tree seeds. And I don't have the thing on that shows the price, so I'll just examine some of these, some of the more interesting ones. But Torsol seeds there, nice little stack. Renard seeds, get so many of these helmets, but they'll be good alks. 2.1k raw shark. So if I find a good way to cook them without burning them, it'll be a lot. Elite, I just hold on to it. I've got a lot of coal if I ever need to use it for some reason. Some rune bars, it's a little bit of smithing XP, lots of magic logs, pretty decent amount of dragon bones, another helm, magic seeds, lots of law runes, good chunk of little blood runes. Some sharks, you can get cooked and raw if you didn't know that. Pineapple seeds, pretty useless. Limpwort seed or limpwort roots, yeah. Granite helms, some runite ore. Here's the rune arrow stack. Someone specifically said they wanted to see that. It's only about half a mil, unfortunately. Those came from low gambles, low gamble, low gamble. I think low gamble as well. Got a little bit of black d'hide. Those came from low gambles, can't use those. Also low, I think. These come from high, and that's a decent little stack. 1 mil cash. And I remember I haven't alked any of this stuff. Like this will be mostly alked, so that's about 600k worth of alks. These are disgusting. Those came from gambles, low gamble, feathers from gambling, flax from beekeepers and gambling, cosmic rune, same thing. But yeah, you get the idea. Mahogany planks, we went pretty dry on those, but yeah, lots of diamonds from high gambles, lots of snapdragon seeds. So you get the idea. And then this is my little gear tab. It's not all there because I don't have placeholders on for some reason, but there it is. There's the bank from 500 gambles plus some random events and stuff. You could make quite a bit more cash, and a lot of these resources aren't going to be useful for me for a very, very long time, if at all. But there's some good stuff in here. Like that might come in handy one day, having like 4k shark. That might be good for smithing. Who knows? But yeah, there it is. Well, that's going to do it for this guy. I appreciate you watching as always. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed it. Let me know what you want to see as far as future content. I do have some collector stuff I still want to put out. If you want to see more stuff about Defender, I'm more than happy to do that, because I know that run was just kind of like a quick talk about it, whatever, when there's a lot of interesting stuff to be talked about in Defender. So let me know if you want to see that. But yeah, that's going to do it. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I hope to see you in the next one. Have a great rest of your day.